It's Tuesday at 4 o'clock, which means it's time for the iciest segment in all of sports. The Mountain, cold and unforgiving. 4 quarterbacks succumb to the playoff altitude. Jordan and Baker end their climb with interceptions. CJ's ascent concludes in Baltimore. And of course, under the watchful eye of a shirtless Kelsey, Josh Allen says goodbye. Alas, 4 quarterbacks remain as we trudge onward towards the peak of what we call Mahomes Mountain.
Wilds, thank you for the wonderful.
For the glare.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, as always. Quick recap on how our playoff mountains have looked, and ominous warning from the mountain. If we look at what the mountain looked like before Wild Card Weekend, there were the 14 quarterbacks that made it, and then show us who was eliminated. And what you will see is a lot of guys near the bottom, and then the entirety of level 2. Then we see the divisional round weekend mountain, and you will see who was there, and then show us who was eliminated. And once again, the entirety of level 2, which is ominous for whomever makes level 2 this week. Only 4 quarterbacks left. Show us the bottom row. Brock Purdy. Now, much like Kyle Shanahan in the 4th quarter, I considered putting Sam Darnold there. However, Brock Purdy remains, and he actually moves up. And, much to Brew's delight, I would imagine, avoids the dreaded level 2. On level 2, Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson. Now, all Lamar did was throw for 150, run for 100, 2 touchdowns through the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and played a nearly perfect second half after the fateful pass early in that second half. What Goff did was not get pressured and deal. He did a wonderful job against Tampa Bay and has continued to show this postseason, if you can't get pressure on him, he is going to carve you up. Now, he is going to have to go outdoors, where he has not played nearly as well this season, but we shall see. And then, of course, atop the mountain is none other than, of course, Patrick Mahomes. 9 yards per play until the kneel downs. Once again, 2nd straight near flawless postseason performance for the Mountain's namesake. And that is the abbreviated Conference Championship Mountain. Greg Jennings.
Yeah, not shocked. This is obviously 4 guys. Patrick Mahomes will be on top, but I would like to contest that and say that Lamar Jackson should probably remain and be on top. And the reason why I said remain is because going into Week 18, Lamar Jackson was the top of the list, and then obviously, you know, the playoffs went, and you had to shuffle it up and get Patrick Mahomes back on top of the mountain. But if you can show the audience, please, guys, the divisional round, Lamar Jackson is like 4th on this list right here. And this is predicated based upon, and I'm assuming this, how well C.J. Stroud performed in that wild card round, Josh Allen, and all the others, correct?
Postseason resume.
Postseason resume. It was based on what they did in those games.
Well, no,
it was based on what. No, this is why these guys move.
Postseason resume.
And so when I look at that,
C.J. Stroud, it was.
And you talked a little bit about what Lamar Jackson was able to do in his first playoff game, and he, in my opinion, looking at this, he was penalized because he was so good in the regular season. You know what, guys? Let's get a bye. Well, everybody wanted. You get a bye. And then he came off in the division round, and he does this. If you compare it to Patrick Mahomes, you said he had pretty much a flawless game. Well, can we see the numbers in side by side? Look at that. In 2 games for Patrick Mahomes, 62 completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 100 passer rating, 60 yards per rush. Look at this, man. 0 touchdowns when he's running the ball. But when you look at this one game, you look at the completion percentage, 72%. 2 passing touchdowns in the air, 2 rushing touchdowns, 121 passer rating, and that's in 1 game. And you telling me he's not atop the mountain?
Well, I would just ask Greg Jennings this question because I don't know who you're picking this weekend, Chiefs or Ravens. But
I don't know who you're picking either.
Well, I have to grind the all-22. Okay. But, I mean, I would be surprised if I went off my preseason pick. But you, luckily, all your preseason picks are so long, dead, and gone, you are a big free agent. So you are able to just analyze the game and do whatever you want. You feel like Baltimore's got the edge at quarterback this weekend?
I really like Baltimore.
Okay, you really like Baltimore
Yeah,
right
boy,
now.
that's
Okay, I didn't. It was, but you feel like they have the edge at quarterback this week?
Really like Baltimore.
Okay,
right
that's
now.
fine.
Based on what I just showed you.
Yeah.
Can we please? We don't
No.
have time. When you
Lamar
saw the
is
stats,
I saw the stats.
he was
balling.
much better than Patrick Mahomes.
I
in
I-
one
It's a
game
fair argument.
versus 2 games.
I
Savvy.
disagree, but that's, you know what? I think you made a strong argument, and I'm excited that you're picking the Ravens because I think you picked against
Did
the
I say
Chiefs
it?
every single
Did I
round.
say I was picking
Go
them?
ahead. It seems like you're. leading the
I'm
way.
not going to argue that Brock Purdy should be on the top of the mountain. But to put him behind vacant,
He's not behind vacant.
look, I know, I told you I have a leak. There's a leak in your group.
Bro, you have to
You
say
say
a
it's
name.
not a committee, but it is.
Just
There's at
looks
least a
better
few of y'all.
in there instead of on the side.
You got to move, at the very least,
Better
move
than
Purdy
Bacon.
over to the left. That's disrespectful to put him
just wanted
behind
to
Bacon.
Show the graphic
Okay,
of Bacon
behind
versus
Bacon.
Purdy. Bacon didn't throw any balls to the Packers, though, for the record. A lot of
Bacon
stuff.
is ridiculous.
do you think he should
I think
go
it's
ahead, sorry.
disrespectful. I mean, look, if you want to argue Goff, fine. Goff's bigger and all that stuff, fine. But Brock Purdy, here's a
Wait,
graphic.
so you're really
Here's a
arguing
graphic.
against Bacon?
Yeah, I'm saying it's disrespected. We don't have the graphic. All right, Baker Mayfield is 5th.
We didn't
Not
look at
Baker, I'm
Bacon.
sorry. Brock Purdy is 5th all time in playoff passer rating, 101.
You
Now,
can't be
he doesn't
serious. There it
qualify because he's only
you
played
can't be serious.
4
Star.
games or parts of 4 games. But he would be
You bet
4th
they're required.
in playoff
This
passer
This
rating.
is Dusty. That's
Hold
no
on.
way Josh
Hold
did
on.
that.
Hold
Is that
on.
Dusty or Josh?
We always talk about what are you doing in the postseason.
Good point.
And now y'all looking at me sideways.
Because we saw the game,
Because
and you said he didn't play well.
it's fine. But he still gave what you wanted to see. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and say he played well beginning of the game. But it is being overstated how poorly he played.
It is?
Yes, it is. He wasn't, I mean, he did throw that touchdown pass to George Kittle. He had 4 passes dropped, all right? And then, of course, he led the game-winning drive. So that he missed some throws.
When
Don't
you
get
say
me
4
wrong.
passes
But
dropped,
hold
are
on,
we
last
counting
time
those dropped by
we
the
counting the
Packers?
2
Six
touchdowns?
total.
No,
So then
4
it's
passes
six.
dropped
Oh, okay,
by
so
the
6,
Niners.
because 2 dropped
All
by the
right,
Packers.
since we always count what ifs. 4 passes dropped by
No, we
6.
only count what
So
if
I'm
for
not
Brock
saying-
Purdy.
but hold on,
What
nah.
if there was a 3rd-team All-Pro?
All you want to
What
do,
if Cleveland
all you
made
want to
the-
do
made
is
the
talk
kick?
about what he hasn't done, and I'm saying what he has done is led this team to the conference championship.
Yeah,
and
just like
when he
Jimmy G.
plays well, you don't give him credit. You only talk about it when he plays poorly.
No, we talk about him more than we
No,
talk about any other
Nick,
mediocre player
You
in the
don't
league.
give him credit when he throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns against a playoff.
No,
You
just
say,
don't.
I want to see him
No,
play badly and come back.
No,
And then he plays badly and comes back, and now you got something else you
what
want.
I won't. It's not that I don't want to give him credit. I don't
It
want to
is.
make him league MVP like you did. That was the argument.
Why couldn't he be league MVP? First
Because
of all,
he's not
I'm
that
saying-
good.
Rich Gannon wasn't that good.
Oh my God.
Boomer Esiason wasn't that
Bro,
good.
everybody else.
Ryan
That's his
Sight
best.
wasn't
Watch
that
Boomer
good.
Esiason.
And by the
played
way,
with you.
Rich Gannon,
Y'all can't
2
discount the
years
whole
before
history of the
he won
NFL because I
NFL
wasn't
MVP,
born.
was 1st-team All-Pro.
Who?
2 years before. Rich Gannon.
Was
And
Rich Gannon a great player?
He was a hell of a lot better than Brock Purdy.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Really.
Stick with that. Let's see how that
Okay.
ages.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
see how that ages.
Okay,
Real talk.
that's fine.
Let's see how all that Brock Purdy disrespect ages.
Well, you were just like this with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Just like No.
Just
Jimmy
like
G
it.
never led the league in significant categories.
Okay. Just
All right?
Please wait.
We've reached the Rich Gannon portion of the program, which means I have to take back control of the show. It's Tuesday at about 4:09, which is the special treat that I promise. We're in for a legacy version of the iciest segment in all of sports. The mountain, cold and unforgiving again, same mountain, but also has a great memory as we look at today's special all-time edition of Mahomes Mountain. I'll tee you up with a question.
Yeah.
Any chance Rich Gannon is on it?
Rich Gannon missed the cut. Let me tell you, because this is Super Bowl era. So there is no Unitas, there's no star. This is basically post-merger, actually, 1970 to now.
Okay.
So other guys who just barely missed out: Warren Moon, Big Ben, Jim Kelly. Those guys did not make it because we have a new person on the 15 greatest quarterbacks ever list. Reveal the bottom of the mountain, if you will. Lamar Jackson.
Let's go!
Has to be
Pretty
on
good.
there. He has 2 league MVPs now. He at least has 1 great playoff game, and he checks the boxes. Terry Bradshaw, 1 MVP, 4 Super Bowl championships. Kurt Warner, 2 MVPs.
All Super Bowl champions, though.
3 Super Bowl appearances, correct. and won a championship. Breeze, 1 championship, bunch of records. Aikman, 3 rings. Level 4. Rodgers, 4 MVPs, 1 title. Favre, 3 MVPs, 2 appearances, 1 title. Roger Staubach, 4 appearances, no MVP. Does he have an MVP? I don't remember. I don't think so. 2 rings. And Steve Young, who I think's criminally underrated. 2 league MVPs, 1 championship, and maybe the best Super Bowl anyone's ever played. Row 3, the truly hallowed ground. Joe Montana, 4 Super Bowls, obviously, 2 MVPs. Dan Marino doesn't have the accolades of the others, but he's basically like the anti-Brock Purdy, like the ultimate eye test guy. John Elway, 5 Super Bowl appearances, 2 rings, and MVP. And then
I didn't.
The Mount Rushmore, along with Montana, Patrick Mahomes and Peyton Manning. Mahomes, 2 MVPs, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 championships, and we're going to add to that probably here in a few weeks. Peyton Manning, 5 MVPs, 4 appearances, 2 rings. And then at the top, with cartoonish numbers, Tom Brady, 3 league MVPs, 10 Super Bowl appearances, and 7 rings. That are your 15 greatest quarterbacks, Greg Jennings, of the modern era. And Lamar with the 2nd MVP, which I am assigning him because we all believe he's going to get it, has to be on that list.
I like it. I'm just curious. Looking at that list, Patrick Mahomes is to the left of Peyton Manning. You sure it's not?
It's not left to right, guys.
Are you?
I don't know how many times to tell you it's not left to right.
He got Mahomes 2nd.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys. I do happen to have Mahomes 2nd, but it could.
And Montana's 4th.
When I send the graphics, I don't even tell them left to right. I was like, hey, here are the rows, and they surprise me with it. I'm not.
Let me see the mountain.
Yeah.
I do think Staubach should be ahead of Favre. All right, but. I'm still gonna have Montana. If Mahomes win this Super Bowl, I'd put him ahead of Montana. But right now, Montana with his 4 Super Bowls, I think should be 2nd. So I think it's Brady 1, Montana 2, Mahomes 3.
Oh, so you have Mahomes. So you have Montana ahead of Peyton as well.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
I don't.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. All right. So you have Montana.
Montana won his first Super Bowl. Dwight Clark, with all due respect. And no running back of any great significance.
Yeah, but Montana to be. So here's the interesting thing: if you go back and look at all of the guys, oddly except for Patrick, all of them, for their first 1 or 2 Super Bowls of the 4 legends, Brady, Peyton, Mahomes, and Montana, they had at least 2 and usually 3 downright bad playoff games on the run to win the Super Bowl that the defense saved them in it. Patrick hasn't had that. In Montana, Peyton was bad, had 3 touchdowns, 7 picks in the postseason the year they won.
Peyton changed the game. It's hard to.
And so Montana won a couple games with the defense shutting him out when he had more touch.
Would you consider putting Caleb on the mountain?
I don't want to.
I'm surprised he wasn't.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.